So you're charged with criminal mischief. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause again.
This is where things immediately escalate. Notice how the judge jumps straight into probable cause. That's basically the court deciding whether this case even deserves to move forward. And trust me, criminal mischief plus a gun-related disturbance. That's not a soft start, audience. What would you expect the judge to do here?
They have the full report now, so we'll find out what happened. Okay.
Loading it right now. Okay. So on Sunday, February 9th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to a disturbance call at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant advised that she was going to a nearby gas station, Circle K, and a man she knows, the defendant, was waving a gun in the air and later pointed the gun at her vehicle. The complainant drove off the premises and called her mother, the witness, and the witness advised the defendant.
Not at her vehicle towards.
Stop.
The defendant advised the defendant to come back to her house, and defending her daughter, she pointed her handgun at the defendant. The defendant advised that he went to the Circle K gas station and that he was carrying an airsoft gun because he was scared. He advised he waved the airsoft gun in the air, but never pointed at anyone directly. The officer detained the defendant and placed him in the back seat of the patrol vehicle. The defendant was cursed at deputies and tried to agitate. The defendant tried to threaten deputies for not assisting him in the way he wanted the incident handled. When he did not get his way, he damaged both rear seatbelts by cutting them with a knife found on his person. And the defendant would start to kick the doors, and bang on the cage. The estimated cost of damage to the patrol vehicle is $250.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mutombo, I'm going to find if there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to be in possession of any weapons. Do you understand? If you violate this condition, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds, sir. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
Yes.
Would you like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer?
No, it's actually, I have a lawyer that I can speak to.
You sure you don't want a lawyer?
I would, yes. Let me apply for one. I would like one.
Okay. So I just need a little bit of information from you. Let me take a look at it, and then I'll have you talk to someone here momentarily, okay? Just be nice when you're out there. I don't want any issues. I want my public safe. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my public, all right? All right. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine.
It'd be easier that way.
I just see the one, right?
Sorry, Your Honor.
I just see one.
We only are aware of one. Something on one of the non-official websites said there was an FSGI also, but I'm only aware of one. That's all I have seen on the district clerk's website, unless it's changed since this morning.
Do you see anything else,
John
Alex?
Smith.
Yeah.
Smith.
Do you just see the DWI?
I just said DWI, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On February 14th, 2025, at approximately 4:50 hours, the officer observed the defendant operating his motor vehicle at the 2300 block of Rice Boulevard. The officer observed the defendant run a red light and crash into another vehicle, and observed the defendant then drive his vehicle from the scene of the crash past the officer. As the defendant was passing the officer observed him in the driver's seat of the vehicle and to be the sole occupant. The officer initiated a traffic stop and observed the motor vehicle from the time of the crash. Following that, the officer made contact with the defendant, and the defendant made a res geste statement stating, "Did you see the guy that hit me?" The officer came into contact with the defendant and noticed a strong odor of alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, red, watery, bloodshot eyes, and the defendant was swaying. The officer ran his information, name, date of birth through NCIC, TCIC, and returned a valid driver's license photo belonging.
This entire moment is a classic DWI breakdown: bad driving, a crash, fleeing the scene, refusing tests, like a checklist of what not to do. And when someone refuses every sobriety test, judges take that very personally. What do you think was refusing? Smart, self-protection, or a terrible idea?
Belonging to the defendant. Standard field sobriety tests were asked to be performed, and the defendant refused the test. The officer placed the defendant under arrest and transported him to JPC, where the defendant was read his DIC, to which the defendant refused. The officer then had a blood warrant signed and executed.
Okay. Mr. Smith, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. You have a lawyer. Good job on having a lawyer, because you do. I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with him and he'll tell you when you have to come back to court. If they call on you to take a test, then you must come here to take the test. If you fail to appear, then a warrant for your arrest will be issued. I understand that you're going on a business trip, so you're still not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. If you get called on for a test, at that point, you'll have to go to a Quest Diagnostics, wherever you're located. Hopefully, he's not out of the country at the time. I don't know how that
So,
happened.
Judge, he is planning on, he has tickets to go to, for business, Your Honor, not for pleasure, to go to Switzerland and then London for how long will you be traveling?
I'll be traveling, leaving
Hopefully.
on Tuesday, and then I'll be traveling back the following Friday.
Okay, I don't think it'll be an issue. If
It's
it
a
does, just
week
keep
and
us
a
in the loop.
half, Judge. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's okay. Just keep us in the loop. Just, if you're not, I don't care where you're going.
Yes,
I don't care how big of a business party it is, you can't use.
absolutely.
All right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have you sign a Resale Victoria. We'll have you get with Felicia Bunkers, and then you guys are good to go. All right?
Yes, sir. So he has permission to travel.
There's no travel restriction. Just don't drink. That's it. We have tests that can go back quite a ways.
Yes.
So we're going to find out. Right? Okay.
Thank you
guys,
very much, Your Honor.
have fun. You are Billy Chapman.
So,
Mr. Chapman, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On February 10th, 2025, at approximately 2:08 a.m., the officers were in a parking lot of Reno's Bar, responding to a disturbance that had occurred at the business. While conducting the investigation, they heard a vehicle rev its engines multiple times, and the officers went to check on an individual inside the vehicle, but before the officers could check the vehicle, it took off at a high rate of speed, recklessly in the parking lot, and the officers called for an additional unit to search for the vehicle, and an officer responded. The defendant's vehicle circled the parking lot and returned to the scene, where the calling officer was able to initiate a traffic stop. The officers observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage and red glossy eyes. The defendant was placed into custody for public intoxication due to a miscommunication between the officers, and it was later determined a DWI investigation was needed. Standard field sobriety were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6. Walk and turn was attempted, but the defendant could not stand in the starting position and was constantly swaying. For the one-leg stand, 3 out of 4 clues were observed. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.154 and 0.149.
Is this stop for?
So they responded to a disturbance and they heard a vehicle rev its engine and he took off at a high rate of speed. So then they attempted to get it to reach that vehicle because it took off in the parking lot from what they describe a high rate of speed recklessly. And then it came back and then they make
Traffic infraction? High rate of speed is
Well-
conclusory as well.
because initially they said they observed, the officer said he observed and heard an individual revving their engines, and then they were
Okay,
attempted to
but
check,
that's-
they were attempting to check inside the vehicle, and that's when it took off at a high rate of speed, recklessly in the parking lot, as they describe it. And then the vehicle circled the parking
All
lot.
of that is conclusory. All of that.
And I understand, Judge. And unfortunately, we do not have the OR at this time, so we can, if you give us a moment, we can see if there is an applicable traffic infraction.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a little bit of time.
Yes,
you know,
Judge.
But can you give me maybe 30 minutes?
Yeah,
We can
sure.
revisit.
I'm gonna run somewhere else. I'll be right back.
Okay, take a seat,
Thank
please,
you,
sir.
Judge.
We'll be back with you here momentarily. I'm going to find no probable cause in your case. You have to understand, they give out DWIs like it's candy on Halloween. Do you know why? We lead the nation per capita in fatalities with alcohol-related collisions. Don't become a statistic.
it's right.
One button on a phone, one button, $30. An Uber will take you wherever you want to go. Use it.
It's right.
All right, take a seat.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, first offense. It's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow, so you were facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You're also charged with failure to stop and give information on that one. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You are making a lifetime decision today. You are making the decision where both of these cases are going on your record today. You need to understand that this will have severe consequences in the fact that if you get pulled over, an officer is going to see this. If they come up to your car and they smell alcohol, they smell weed, they smell anything funky, it's probably not going to go well. So don't give them the tools. You know what I mean? It's really easy with one button on a phone. $30 will take you anywhere you want to go with an Uber. It's so much easier, you know? You have to understand that what we're doing today, this proverbial slap on the wrist, I mean, from now on, you're facing a minimum of 90 days in jail on a DWI. Do you understand? All right. You're giving up many rights. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you are not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law, and give up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, it will go on your record. You can never take it off. This is what you want to do. How do you plead to the offense of both of the cases? I will find you guilty and I will sentence you on the DWI to 6 days in jail, credit for the 2 days that you've done. And on the failure to stop and give information, I will sentence you to 12 days in jail, credit for the 4 days that you've done.
Should be 6 and 6.
No, it's 12 4 and 6 and 2.
You didn't see that?
I think it's same thing either way, right?
It's time served.
Yeah, it's time served.
Okay,
It
Donna,
doesn't
I'm
matter.
sorry, I didn't see that on the
know-
paper. That's my bad.
You're allowed to make mistakes every once in a while, right? But if you continue to make the same mistake when you endanger other people's lives, there are very serious consequences. There's a surcharge of $3,500 that would tack on this DWI. I'm going to roll it for you today. But you pick up another DWI, it's a $6,000 surcharge. Get a clue. It's not hard. I am going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do not drive until you get a license, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, Tim.
And he can come back here if he needs to get occupational and all that other stuff.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Can we both be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Riggs, you're charged with criminal mischief and failure to identify oneself as a fugitive from justice. So on the mischief, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. On the failure to identify oneself, you're facing up to a year in jail and a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 180 on both cases with credit for the 85 days that you've done. Is this how you understand the plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
You need to understand that both of these cases will go on your record.
Yes, sir.
They will be there for the rest of your life. You can never take them off.
Yes, sir.
You give up a lot of rights. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you accept this, there's no turning back. This is what you want to do.
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the offense of failure to identify oneself and criminal mischief?
Sure.
I will find you guilty, sentence you to the agreement. From now on, you're facing a minimum of 90 days in jail. Got to be careful. You understand? 95% of the people in there, there's no self-control. Without thinking, if I do this, what's going to happen? Hence the mischief. You know what I mean?
No.
Good luck. Thank you. Good evening. Tell me what you got.
John Melendez, judge, he's there on a BVR. And I think the GPS device has been, the whole issue has been rectified, but I'm not sure. We can check with PT pretrial services there.
What say you?
Judge, I did reach out to the case manager this morning to see Mr. Melendez did check in on the 10th of February to have the device inspected. It was then from the date of the BVR when we lost cell, that cell was
Right here, the true first reveal is major. First-time DWI defendants often get lighter deals, but the judge immediately warns him that even one future slip will bring mandatory jail time. This is the moment the audience should ask themselves, does a warning like this actually change behavior? Or do people forget the second they leave the courtroom?
then regained on the 10th. And then, to my knowledge, from the case manager and the device inspectors themselves, they stated that no issues with the charger device were found on our end.
Where's Mr. Melendez now? Come
He's-
on.
He's there, Judge. Thank you.
Is it operational now?
It's operational as of the 10th when we inspected the device, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Cuevas.
Morning.
Sir, you were charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. Is this a first or a second? Alex,
Your Honor.
True first?
True first, Your Honor.
Okay, so you have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 90 days in jail. to be probated for 6 months, you must do a DWI education class, a victim impact panel, and a TRAS. A TRAS is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess other conditions, you must fulfill those to complete this probation successfully. No drugs, no alcohol, guardian interlock, and 20 hours of community service. A one-time $100 donation to Mothers Against Drunk Driving. You need to understand something, that this DWI is going to go on your record. You will be looking at a minimum of 30 days in jail from now on if you ever pick up another DWI. And just the fact that you have this on your record, you ever get pulled over and you smell like alcohol, it's probably not going to go well for you. So I would never, even if you had a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car. You're taking a huge risk. Do you understand? You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you accept this probation, it's a contract you're signing with us. You either complete it successfully. If you violate it, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. I'll put you in jail and I'm going to bring you back out. We are only going to talk about if you violate it. If you do, you're looking at up to 90 days in jail. Do you understand?
Also would like, I know you're on our practice immigration law as well, but I also like Mr. Cuevas could also speak with his immigration attorney to make sure he understands if there's any consequences to this plea.
So you have spoken to an immigration lawyer?
Yes.
Great. Do you have any questions? Okay. I'm not going to suspend your license. I don't know what the status of your license is now, but just be careful. If it's suspended, don't drive until you get it back. And you must have liability insurance as well. Okay. How do you plead to the officer? Guilty or not guilty? I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to follow the agreement, sentence you to it. If you ever have a problem, just come back. We can always help you. We can always work through issues. Money is never a problem. It's doing the stuff that you say you're going to do and do it in on time. All right. Okay. Good luck, guys.